from Utah's first TV station. ABC4 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Emily has the night off. I'm Don Hudson. Thank you very much for choosing ABC4 News tonight. A big lightning storm on Sunday ignited more than 30 wildfires in Box Elder County. While firefighters have most of those under control, they're worried about a repeat of another storm heading our way. ABC4's Rosie Nguyen explains what they're doing to mitigate the damage.
Smoke filled the sky Monday as fire crews worked to cut a fuel break in front of the Lake Ridge fire in Box Elder County.
There were hundreds of lightning strikes that went through with this storm system that passed over northwestern Utah on Sunday night. And as a result, there were 32 fires about. We're still finding more.
2 of those fires have topped the list of the largest wildfires in Utah this year. The Russell Fire has burned nearly 6,000 acres. The Curlew Flat Fire has burned 4,500 acres. Although the wildfires stayed within rural areas away from homes, firefighters say there are still people affected.
These are primarily private lands out there, and there are a lot of large ranches. And every acre that burns up is acreage that they won't have for their livestock to feed on.
As of Tuesday, crews say most of the fires are under control, but now they're worried about a potential repeat with another storm on the way.
Weather in general is usually our biggest adversary, and both with lightning because of the ignitions and also the fire behavior with the wind, the heat, and the dry air. Those are the things that drive fire behavior from a weather standpoint. Until
then, firefighters will put down fuel breaks and scrape down vegetation to mitigate the damage. Reporting in Box Elder County, Rosie Nguyen, ABC4 News.
Firefighters say they were able to keep costs low for these fires in Box Elder County because no aerial resources actually had to be used. Right now to a health alert with temperatures soaring near records today. In fact, we actually hit a record, I believe. It's important to remind everyone to drink a lot of water, especially our student athletes who are already out there practicing. Athletic trainers from Intermountain Healthcare say hydration is extremely important to prevent heat illnesses. One student athlete tells ABC4 News water breaks are extremely important and extremely helpful.
Hydration is one of the most important things here. We have to be able to, of course, be the best, and that's what is expected out of us, and all the water breaks just help us be there and help us stay hydrated.
Health officials say if an athlete stops sweating, that is a sign of heat stroke, and emergency steps need to be taken immediately. Some early signs can include things like dizziness, vomiting, pale skin, and having cold sweats. Meteorologist Dan Pope joined us now for a first look at the forecast. And Dan, I said we were either at a record or maybe we hit a record. You can officially let us know here.
We set a new record high today.
Okay.
The old record was 101, set in 1995 and in years previous. And it's still hot out there right now. We're down to 101. Okay, that's still hot. 100 in Wendover. And we're hotter than St. George by 3 degrees. Vernal is 89. Rock Springs, a couple of thunder showers in the area have helped cool temperatures down, but the wind gust hit 43 miles per hour. Here's the latest Storm Tracker Doppler radar. Let's zoom in on this and get a look at southern Utah, where a couple of showers persist near Kanab and to the north. We have a couple more of those showers near Antimony and more, I'd say, when you count them up by lightning strikes, more in the area of Green River. We have a couple of thunderstorms moving through southeast Idaho. Pretty good sized storm right over the top of Soda Springs right now. So it's going to be heading towards Afton and Star Valley shortly. More on this and if we're going to have any more 100-degree heat coming up in just a little bit. Don?
All right, Dan, thank you. Former Utah Governor Jon Huntsman Jr. says he's going to resign as U.S. ambassador to Russia in October. Huntsman served for 2 years during what he called a historically difficult time in the relations between the two large countries. Officials say Huntsman might run again for governor here in 2020. He, of course, left the governor's office in Utah in 2009 when President Obama tapped him to be the ambassador to China. A recent poll from the Salt Lake Chamber found that Huntsman nearly tied with Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox in a hypothetical general election for Utah governor. Salt Lake City police say that a man shot and killed by officers yesterday had a gun on him, and he actually used it against officers. They say 29-year-old Richie Antonio Santiago fired on 2 officers who then shot back, killing him. West Valley City Police Department is going to be investigating this officer-involved critical incident, and the officers who were involved are now on administrative duties. This all happened outside of the Park Place at City Center Apartments. Police say both officers' body cameras were on and both captured the entire event. Salt Lake City Police will release that video within 10 days.
You know, we're really not sure what led up to this. Our officers were on scene because of that 911 hang-up call. We don't know if they were, it was a direct result of the altercation that ensued. We're just not sure at this point.
A court records show earlier this year that Santiago had failed to stop for police in Ogden and Salt Lake City, and the courts issued warrants for his arrest in both cases. He was also charged in Cottonwood Heights for not having a license. You know, friends and neighbors of Santiago say that they're angry about his death and upset. ABC4 News spoke with a few of them today. They say Santiago is leaving behind several children. They add, while he has had his problems with the law, he was a kind person who was working to clean up his life.
He was a good person, always had a smile on his face, always joking with people, always making sure everybody was all right. Like I'm telling you, he's the type that would give you the clothes off his back, even if that's the last thing he had.
This is the third officer-involved shooting involving Salt Lake City Police this year. Last year, there were a total of 4. We also had a deadly weekend out on Utah roads. Friday through Sunday, just that time period, the Utah Highway Patrol investigated 7 deadly crashes. State troopers say one common factor in all these crashes, drivers not paying attention. Troopers are also reminding people to buckle up. They say at least 2 of these deaths happened because people were not wearing seatbelts. Well, the weekend was tragic. UHP says this year is actually better than the past few years.
We've been actually really encouraged because we're seeing better numbers when it comes to crashes, when it comes to total people and deaths that we have on our freeway. Even though 1 is absolutely way too many, we've seen a better year this year than we have the last 2 years.
Troopers say your #1 focus when driving should be driving. They say drive alert 100% of the time. By new at 6, a continuous trend of thefts targeting Utah retail stores. Now, one of the most recent cases comes to us from West Jordan. That's where the Utah Attorney General's office has filed 8 felony charges against Extreme Pond Store and the manager, Johnny Jones. He's accused of buying and selling property with knowledge that the merchandise was stolen from other retailers.
All of the individuals that we interviewed that were stealing from retailers and committing those pawn transactions were addicted to controlled substances. And essentially they were using the money from the pawn shops to fund their addiction.
Now, Jones has not been arrested. He's been summoned to turn himself in before his next court date. That's September 6th, by the way. The Extreme Pond in West Jordan remains open while that investigation continues. You know, close to 20% of veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan now suffer from PTSD. And a business in St. George is hoping to help them with a unique treatment. A wellness center called Inside Out uses hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Patients step into this pressurized chamber that brings 600 times more oxygen to the brain than normal. U.S. Army veteran Josh Rock says the treatment has actually helped him reach a special milestone.
And with tears in my eyes, I said, I just want to make it to my 40th birthday and sitting on my front porch swinging.
Staff now launching a veteran sponsorship program. This is great here. They're offering free therapy sessions for vets suffering from PTSD. Time now for this week's Behind the Badge.
Vehicle inside of that ambulance. I got a nice seat for you. AC is cooking.
Now, this is Officer Josh Weischer. He has worked at the state prison. He's worked several years as a parole and probation officer in Salt Lake County, and now he is an officer in his hometown of Heber.
Coming up here was really fun to be actually in my community, seeing the people I know. I've loved it. It's been a lot of fun. I get to, interact with the community in a positive way.
We caught up with a 33-year-old officer to talk about why he serves and protects and why he's also known as the crooner cop for all of his singing and music videos. Join us as we get to know another great Utah officer in our Behind the Badge report tonight at 10. Well, President Trump pointed to mental illness as one of the problems leading to mass shootings in the U.S. Just ahead, why civil rights groups say that is stigmatizing those with mental issues.
And we're looking outside. This is the Colonial Flag Tower camera. We have a little north wind, as you can see here. The flag is at half-mast, remembering those who have been lost in these mass shootings. There are no thunderstorms to speak of along the Wasatch Front. It's just plain old hot. I'll deal with the temperature outlook coming up in Utah's most accurate forecast.
We want to thank you, our loyal viewers, for your support. We are doing our best to return KTVX and KUCW to DirecTV. We offered AT&T an extension of our current agreement so you, our viewers, would not lose our stations, but AT&T turned us down and removed us from DirecTV. We want you to have your favorite shows and news immediately. Please call DirecTV today and demand they return our stations to your lineup. We appreciate your patience and support.
It's easy to replace your tub or shower when you choose Bath Fitter. Hi, I'm Bill Booman.
And I'm Rick Booman from Bath Fitter.
From Logan to St. George, we serve all of Utah. Call now for your free in-home estimate and receive up to $450 off. It's better with Bath Fitter.
It's back to school time, and at Smith's, we've got more ways to save, like great sales on their favorites, digital coupons, and fuel points too. So saving is easy. It's just the way that we do.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely. But Allstate actually helps you drive safely with DriveWise. It lets you know when you go too fast and brake too hard. With feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Insurance companies can't be all that bad, can they?
What if I told you that after a serious injury, the insurance company will give you the runaround and treat you and your family like just another number?
Is that true?
That's true.
So they're not like a good neighbor.
Insurance companies do a great job of pretending to be on your side, but after a serious injury, they'll do whatever they can to avoid paying you the money you need and deserve. Call Siegfried and Jensen today.
I'm Dr. Benjamin Dunkley. I love seeing how much better my patients feel about themselves.
Envision Cosmetic Surgery. Schedule a complimentary consultation today, 801-268-2650.
Say hello to the Book of Mormon. Ben Brantley of the New York Times says the Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The Book of Mormon. Performances begin August 13th at the Eccles Theater. Visit BroadwayAtTheEccles.com.
It's easy to replace your tub or shower when you choose Bath Fitter. Hi, I'm Bill Booman.
And I'm Rick Booman from Bath Fitter.
From Logan to St. George, we serve all of Utah. Call now for your free in-home estimate and receive up to $450 off. It's better with Bath Fitter.
You're watching ABC4 News.
Welcome back. When addressing the recent mass shootings, President Trump talked about violent video games, violent movies, and mental illness as the sources of the problem. Well, there is evidence that mental illness plays a role. Others say that's not the case. Washington correspondent Alexander Limon has a story.
Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun.
If we had stronger gun safety laws, there wouldn't have been a trigger to pull.
Nadia Aziz with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under the Law argues that blaming mental illness for mass shootings is a distraction from what she says is the real problem: guns. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy has dedicated his career to gun reform since the Sandy Hook school shooting. He said in a tweet that 4 of 5 mass shooters have no mental illness diagnosis, and half showed no signs of prior undiagnosed illness. The data is contradictory. One FBI study of mass shootings between the years 2000 and 2013 found that less than 25% of the gunmen had been diagnosed with a mental illness. A recent Secret Service investigation of mass shootings in the year 2018 found that 2/3 of the gunmen did exhibit symptoms of mental illness.
Other countries have mental health. Other countries have violent video games and films. Other countries have hate groups.
California Congressman Eric Swalwell says what other countries don't have is easy access to assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
And the result is sadly really, really deadly.
And Aziz says history shows mental illness is most frequently the excuse when the gunman is white. In Washington, Alexandra Limon, ABC4 News.
The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints showing us the renovations for the Hong Kong China Temple and what they're going to look like. The temple closed last month to undergo extensive renovations. It's undergoing mechanical, electrical, heating, plumbing systems. All those things are going to be changed. The temple will remain closed into 2022. After that, it'll be rededicated following a public open house. Speaking of the temples, the church also says the Port-au-Prince Haiti Temple is now complete. This is the church's first temple in Haiti. The public open house for this temple begins Thursday and will run through Saturday, August 17th, in case you want to jump on a plane and get there. After the open house, the temple will be dedicated on Sunday, September 1st. The temple in Haiti is the church's 165th operating temple. Today, there are more than 23,000 members of the LDS Church in Haiti. There's one mission there, too, the Haiti Port-au-Prince mission. By now, to a consumer alert, school bells are just a few weeks away from ringing and kids will be heading back to classes. With that in mind, you're probably thinking about back-to-school shopping. Well, according to a new survey done by topcashback.com, 69% of Americans do plan to do back-to-school shopping. 41% of those folks plan on spending up to $500 per child on the essentials needed for school. They say the essentials are mostly things like new clothes and shoes and new computers. Well, the folks at the Tracy Aviary are begging us to turn off our house lights to protect our feathered friends while they migrate. August through October is a heavy migration season for about 300 kinds of birds, and they all fly over and around the Wasatch Mountains. Lights from homes and cities can draw them off course, just like a bug to a porch light, and that can further endanger some species.
Birds that are flying over are kind of an indicator for health of an environment. So if we're seeing birds that are being affected by light pollution, you better believe that we're also affected by that same light pollution.
Now, in lieu of actually just turning all your lights off, scientists recommend using those motion sensors if you can, and also choosing lower light temperatures.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast. Weather rate certified 8 years in a row.
What? Everyone should be just trying to find water, not light right now, because it's so hot out there.
But boiling hot. Yeah. Well, not quite. I mean, it's not 212 degrees, but it's hot. And you know, we went from the wettest spring on record to now the 26th driest summer on record. So things really do change fast. We've had 9 days of 100 degrees or hotter. Here's what it looks like in southern Utah, on the Southern Utah University Camera Network. St. George. Let's go up to the north now, Cedar City. A lot of clouds across southern Utah, but very little in the way of precipitation is falling from these clouds. We head towards the north. This is from the Cottonwood Heights area. Again, very quiet, mainly high clouds. Quick look at your pollen count. Low for linden, cedar, and oak. Ragweed low, and dock is low. We also have other pollinating problems, including the grass. Grass pollen is moderate. 101 in Salt Lake, 100 in South Jordan. Over the hill in Park City, it's a more comfortable 84 degrees, 96 in Saratoga Springs. Temperatures are still hot statewide, but it's interesting. Salt Lake is hotter than St. George. And when we look at the high temperatures, 95 in Vernal, 91, that's hot. Rock Springs, 99 in Delta, 101 in Wendover. Salt Lake was hotter than Phoenix today. The high 102, also the second hottest temperature this summer. The hottest was 103 on the 22nd of July. Monsoon moisture is here. It's present. Also off the coast, there's a little disturbance. That's going to move in and create a collision zone. So we'll see a chance around the central and eastern side of the state for tomorrow and in the coming days. As you'll see here on the latest Storm Tracker Doppler radar, some very light showers, not a lot going on. We've seen some of those thunderstorms pop up and then diminish, moving towards Green River. Biggest thunderstorms are here over the southeast Idaho area near Soda Springs and Afton. These are going to be present for the next couple of hours. There are a number of lightning strikes and a couple of strikes across the Uinta Mountains. So our futurecast shows mostly quiet weather tonight and tomorrow. We begin to see the thunderstorm threat increasing as we head into Thursday during the morning. Watch this. Thursday morning, Thursday midday, and then Thursday night, here comes another batch of showers and thunderstorms across the region. So again, a very hot forecast coming up for us tomorrow as temperatures reach up into the 90s. 93 in Vernal, 99 in St. George, and the Wasatch Front St. George 7-day forecast. Thursday is your highest chance with drier, quieter, cooler weather coming up. for the weekend. Nobody's complaining about that. And for the Wasatch Front, again, Thursday, the biggest threat, but no more 100s, only in the upper 80s Sunday and Monday.
Upper 80s. Well, we'll take upper 80s any day.
Yes.
Over 100.
Absolutely.
It's just brutal out there.
Yeah.
All right. Dana joins us now with a bucket full of sports.
We do, yes. The NCAA comes down on the Utes basketball program. We're going to tell you the details. Plus, BYU could have not one, not two, but 3 running backs carry the rock this season. We're going to hear from them next in sports.
I've worked at RC Willey long enough to know a good sale when I see one. And this is one of them. You got to check this out.
During our summer closeout, hurry in and take advantage of special savings in every department. To make room for new merchandise, we're offering additional savings from $50 to $200 on your new purchase. Save now on sofas, sectionals, and recliners, including leather. You'll also save on mattresses, bedroom sets, and dining sets. Plus, items are in stock for immediate delivery. Enjoy savings up to $200 during our summer closeout. RC Willey.
You've done a lot of planning in your life and prepared for milestones along the way. Buying your first car, funding your education, saving for your first home, planning for your retirement. You've done a lot of planning in your life. Plan ahead for your funeral and cemetery needs with Memorial Mortuaries and Cemeteries, awarded Best of State in funeral services.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. For all your car's big O no's, there's always a big O yes. Save $100 on sets of 4 Big O brand tires, plus get $50 by mail-in rebate with the Big O credit card. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Be advised, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to save 40 to 80% on a hot tub and swim spa. Friday through Sunday. Major manufacturers and warehouses clearance of new 2019 inventory. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Over 100 hot tubs on display and everything must go. See the revolutionary swim spa. You can exercise, swim, and relax without the expense and maintenance of a pool. Hot tub starting at $29.95. All inventory 40 to 80% off. 18-month interest-free financing. Trade-ins welcome. Free delivery. We'll even haul away your old hot tub. Mountain America Expo Center, formerly Southtown Expo Center. Free admission. Free parking. Call 1-888-SPA sale.
We got stuck in traffic in Lehigh at a construction zone, and I got rear-ended at 80 miles an hour. I lost my wife of 18 years and my 16-year-old son, so I needed help. I needed somebody to guide me to the right direction. So I called the advocates. They just stepped in and pretty much took care of everything. If you're in a motor vehicle accident or situation, call the advocates.
When dark clouds roll in and the thunder roars.
Tonight at 10. Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Dana Green.
The Utes basketball program's been placed on 2 years probation by the NCAA for some relatively minor recruiting violations. Originally, Larry Kristoviak was going to serve a 2-game suspension, but after Utah appealed, that suspension was overturned by the NCAA. However, assistant coach Tommy Connor, thought to be the heir apparent to the Utes coaching job, has had that designation taken away from him. Connor actually already served a 1-week suspension for the violation last year. This is believed to be centered around sophomore Booth Gotch. The Utes exceeded their number of recruiting visits allowed with him. The basketball program was also fined $5,000. Kristoviak called the violations inadvertent and unintentional. Last season, the BYU running game was a bit of a concern. They were 89th in the nation in rushing, but this year the Cougars could have a 3-headed monster carry the load. First, you have last year's leading rusher, Lopini Katoa, who's finally healthy again. But then you add grad transfers Tyson Williams from South Carolina and Emmanuel Asupa from Rice. And all of a sudden, the running game looks a lot stronger.
We got talented guys all across the board that can do everything. So it's just fun coming out here and competing. You know, someone goes out there and makes a play, then you have in your mind like, okay, I'm going to make a play. And then the guy behind you is like, okay, I'm going to one-up him.
That's always a great thing when you have depth at the running back position, just because, I mean, it's a physical position, so the more numbers you have, the better.
It's been really positive all around. They're experienced guys, hard workers, so they just like heighten the the talent level in our room, and the competition makes everybody better.
Kalani Sitake really appreciates what both Williams and Asupa bring to the team, experience and leadership.
You know, when they take the field, it's a different level of professionalism. I think a lot of that has to do because it's their last year. You know, there's a last goal for them, and when they're in here, they're practicing. They're not screwing around.
Williams and Asupa saw an opportunity to play right away, but they also came to BYU because of Sitake and Jeff Grimes.
They kind of just give us a sense of freedom, but also a sense of like you have to put your head down and work.
For Coach Kalani, I just like how he was as a head coach. He's kind of honest with you, and then Coach Grimes the same way. I mean, he cares about his guys.
While both Asupa and Williams admitted they weren't too familiar with the BYU-Utah rivalry, they're learning quickly.
Like when I got here, I found out pretty quick because I would like just post random things on Instagram, and people just like beat Utah, and it had nothing to do. What I was asking had nothing to do with Utah.
It seems like that's all like people care about out here, so it's just nice and fun to have the fans behind you, and it gets you more focused on the game. Like, hey, I want to not only beat Utah for our team, but for the fans.
They are learning, and congrats to Annika Borelli. The San Francisco native won the 3rd annual Utah Women's Open today at Thanksgiving Point, shot a final round 68, and got to take home the ABC4 trophy from our own Wesley Ruff there. Probably the closest Wesley's going to get to holding a golf trophy. Much closer than me. Much closer than me.
Isn't here to
He's not
defend
here to
himself, so
defend
you're
himself.
taking shots at him.
Exactly. That's how we roll.
West at a golf course, so shocking.
Yeah, right. But congrats to Annika.
Yeah.
68 and a 67, not bad.
I thought he had a 1 handicap or something like that.
That's probably what he told you.
It's 101 out there right now.
He's a golfer, so he's telling you stories.
Yeah.
That's what
All
he's
right,
doing.
yeah, it's like a fish story, isn't it? 96 tomorrow. The storms come in on Thursday, though.
It's the greatest shot of my life. The greatest shot, I tell you. Hey, see you back here with much more at 10.